Hello, it's Miss Hurst here, and we are going to be making a pasta bake. The equipment you will need is a chopping board and knife, straining spoon, a wooden spoon, a baking tray and a dish to put your pasta bake in, a large saucepan or wok for cooking the vegetables, small saucepan for the pasta, a colander, cheese grater and some kitchen roll. The ingredients you need: 1 tin of chopped tomatoes, 1 red onion, 2 peppers of any colour, some grated cheese, 1 clove of garlic, tomato puree, mixed herbs, salt and pepper. Optional extras include mushrooms, sweet corn, courgette and anything else that you would like to add to your pasta bake. Could be some cherry tomatoes, maybe some olives, whatever you and your family would like to add into their pasta, you can add this in as well. You are also going to need some pasta. It is usually approximately 100 grams of pasta per person, or 1 large handful. But consider how many vegetables you are going to be adding, and if you are adding lots of optional extras, you may wish to reduce the amount of pasta. Also, if you are going to be serving with a side of garlic bread or side salad, again, you may wish to reduce some of these quantities. We'll start by adding a pinch of salt to a pan of water and get this on a high heat to start boiling, ready for the pasta. Add a large spoon of oil to the base of your large frying pan, and we're going to keep this cold for now so that we don't overheat the oil and smell your house out with the smell of onions cooking. Cut both ends off your garlic and peel the skin apart. You can either use a small grater to grate the garlic into the oil, or you can use a garlic press or just chop it very finely with your knife. Next we cut up the onion, so we take off the top and then using the bridge grip we cut it in half, still with the skin on at this point. You're then going to peel back on 1/2 of the onion, the skin, and this will give you something to hold on to whilst you dice the onion. Can be a little bit tricky to pull these layers back off the onion, but once you've got them, you can hold on to them with your hand, keeping your fingers out of the way of your knife whilst you slice across. And then dice your onion into small pieces. Cut up the whole onion. Then add it to your pan of oil. You then need to prepare your peppers. To start, remove the top, the lid, and then you can pull out the stalk if it doesn't already fall out when you cut it. You can then use your hand to take out the white pithy centre of your pepper and tap out any seeds that are remaining inside. You may be using 2 whole peppers like we are here, 2 different colours, or you may, if you are adding lots of optional extras, you may decide that only 1 pepper is enough for your pasta bake. Once you've removed the centre, use the bridge grip to cut your pepper into quarters, and you can then lay them quite flat and safely with your fingers out of the way to slice them into bite-sized pieces. Think about the amount of food that you would have on a fork or spoon. You don't tend to eat a pasta bake using a knife and fork, so you don't usually need to cut anything up. When choosing the vegetables to add in, we try to include as many different colours as possible. Both red and yellow peppers, green courgette, the purple colour of the onion. We're trying to eat a rainbow. Cut up all of your pepper before we move on to any other vegetables. Keep an eye on your saucepan of water. Once it's boiling, add your pasta. You will then use the wooden spoon to give it a stir, and if you have a lid for your saucepan, put that on as it will cook quicker. Our pepper is ready, we're going to move on to the courgette. We'll take off each end and then using the bridge grip, slice in half so you can lay it flat on the chopping board and it's not going to roll around, and then slice again into quarters. Again, we're looking at mouthful size pieces, so similar size chunks that you have cut your pepper into. Any vegetables that you are using, you'll want to cut into the same size. Keep checking back on your pasta. You may need to remove the lid if it's boiling. If you are using mushrooms, you do not want to wash these as they soak up water like a sponge. Use your kitchen roll to wipe them over to remove any bits of dirt that may be left, and then chop them again into similar sized pieces. So you can either quarter these or slice them, but just check against the size that you have cut your pepper and courgette and other vegetables so they're all mouth size. Prepare anything else that needs to go in by opening the tins and draining your sweet corn if you have tinned sweet corn. If it's frozen, put it into a bowl. Also take off the lid of your tinned tomatoes, ready to tip straight in when we're ready to cook. Move everything over next to the cooker, and if your pasta is now ready, use a colander in the sink to drain it and then save it to one side for later. Now turn the ring onto a medium-high heat and start to cook your onions. You can stir them occasionally. You're looking for them to go a more translucent, see-through colour before we start adding any more of the vegetables. Once ready, tip in your pepper. We're going to start with the hard vegetables first as they take longer to cook. So tip them straight into the pan and give it a stir. Wait for the peppers to soften before you go in with any more vegetables. You do not have to stir continuously. You can leave the pan on the heat and go back to it every so often. Once ready, tip in your next vegetables. So these are the softer vegetables that don't take so long to cook. Our sweet corn is tinned, so we've not put that in yet. But if using frozen sweet corn, this would want to go in now as well. We're now going to go in with some seasoning. A pinch of salt to start with. Then some pepper. A couple of heaped teaspoons of mixed herbs. If you like chilli, you may wish to put some chilli in here to add a little bit of spice. Tomato puree, we use about a quarter of the tube, so squeeze out a generous amount into your vegetables. Give it a stir, and next we go in with the tinned tomatoes. Tip all of the tomatoes straight in and scrape out as much you can from the can. We then top it up with a little bit of water from the sink, swill it around and tip that in too. We don't want any waste. Give it a stir to bring everything together, and now it's time to add some tinned sweet corn. This is our last ingredient for our pasta bake sauce. We're now ready to add the pasta to the sauce. We always add the pasta to the sauce, not the other way round, as it is easier to control the consistency. You won't end up with a plate full of pasta and not much sauce. Give it a stir to check on the quantities that you have put in. We did not end up using all of our cooked pasta as we decided to include a lot more optional extras, such as a whole courgette, 2 whole peppers, added mushrooms. Really, we should have taken away some of the pasta to counteract these quantities. If this happens to you, don't worry. Cold pasta makes a really quick, easy lunch. You can add some tinned tuna or a couple of spoons of pesto, mix it in with some cooked pasta, and there's your lunch sorted. It is now time to add your pasta to your dish. If you are saving your pasta bake to eat later on, you will want to put it in the oven for about 20 minutes to melt the cheese and heat up all of the ingredients again. If you are making your pasta bake ready to serve, you can add your cheesy top and put it just under the grill to melt the cheese. All of the ingredients are already hot, so it doesn't need to go in the oven for very long. Sprinkle a generous amount of cheese all over the top of your pasta. We always recommend that you put your dish onto a baking tray to make it easier to handle in and out of the oven. We are going to eat ours now, so ours goes under the grill for just a few minutes to make the cheese nice and golden, melted and crispy. And there you have it, a vegetable pasta bake.